New cord. Hello? 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 Oh. Oh. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Oh yeah, I guess I need these on so I can see, huh? The only thing is that, let me see if I can figure this out or not. Hello, how is everyone doing? uh, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay? Man, but this thing's already gonna die. Is this the... Yeah, okay. I'll figure it out. I think that's right. Oh, but then I need to type it all. Damn it. Okay, one sec, sorry. I need to get the... Okay, cool. Oh, is anyone hearing an echo? Hello! It is good to see you guys. Hi everyone, how are you? How are you doing? Good evening. Well, yeah, probably for you. It's the morning for me. Well, I guess afternoon, but... Okay. Oh, hello, Kitty. It's the book club mascot. Okay, cool. All right, let me really quickly... Marilla, ma'am. Can you get your tail out of here? Thanks so much. Send the list. We did classic horror, right? We did Dean Koontz. I have to put these... We did best covers. We did cosmic horror. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm pretty sure we did classic horror. So that should be all of our categories. Okay. Oh, am I? Oh no, okay. Just weird. Okay. Yes, we must all bow down to the demon. If you wouldn't mind sacrificing a virgin to her, that would be really appreciated. Hello, how is everyone doing? Am I out of focus or am I crazy? Is the video fine? I can't tell if it's just my computer that's messing up or if it's the camera. What are you doing? Oh, she's being very, very cute. Okay. It's your first book club? Welcome to your first book club. Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's been a while since we had book club, huh? I'm excited. It's been a minute. That's a little... It's around there. I've read a few more since then, but it's around there. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Okay, we'll run with it. So basically, okay, let's start with this. So this is very distracting for me because it's like putting me in slow motion. I don't know why. So basically, first I'd like to start with an apology because this was actually my bad. The category this month was cosmic horror. So if you guys are new, what happens is we pick, or the holy wheel picks our category for us, right? And then I put a thing on Instagram and people can put in book recommendations from that category. And you guys give your recommendations too. So the book Apparitions was suggested to me without an author's name. And so I just Googled it, and this book was the first book that came up. It was a joint effort because book club is the one that chose it, but it's not a cosmic horror book because I picked the incorrect Apparitions book. So my bad. And going forward, I think I'll take cosmic horror out just so we don't have it next month, but I'm going to put it back in since we haven't read a cosmic horror book yet. But that's why I felt bad, because I'm like, I know sometimes if I'm expecting a certain book and then I start reading, I'm like, wait, this is not what I was expecting at all. And then sometimes it kind of ruins the book for me. So I apologize. Yeah, I feel like it was a good mistake in the end. But I do apologize because I feel like if I would joined a book club and I was about to read a cosmic horror book and I read this book, I'd keep waiting for like monsters to pop up and it would kind of mess me up. So I apologize. That was my bad. I will now, from now on, make sure that people include the author as well. So, yeah, weird, right? Oh no, that's not good because I move my hands a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know why it shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, man, this book was so sad. So sad. Well, okay, I'm glad that you guys liked the book. That makes me feel less bad because I was thinking I probably would have been disappointed going into it thinking that it was cosmic horror and then... So, that's good. I'm glad we found it too. Yeah, so now there's a chance. So now we'll leave cosmic horror in, and we'll do that again eventually. Yeah, it was so sad. This book was so sad. Okay, so do you guys want to start by picking the category so that way you guys have time to think of a book by the end of book club if you want to recommend something? I'm going to have to do it on here because... Oh, this is not what I was trying to... Wheel of Names. I'm going to have to do it on my iPad because my husband couldn't figure out how to... He needed a second screen, and I was like, oh, you don't have to waste time putting up a second screen. But we can do it on the iPad, and it'll be fine. Spin that wheel. You guys cracked me up. Okay. Oh yeah, everyone blame Richard. It's always Richard's fault if you're new to book club. Any mistake is Richard's fault. Yeah, so it is. That's why I'm confused, because we were having issues with the focus when I was making videos, and so he did change it. So it is supposed to just be focused here. It's not supposed to track me. That's why I'm a little confused. Is it still doing it? Is it going in and out of focus? Okay, so here is our wheel of names. Let me see if I can... Oh yeah, okay, I think this is... I'll screen record it so we can put it on. Whatever you call it. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle a few times. Oh! Okay, here we go. First, I'm going to try to see if I can make it zoom in on you. Or on this. Let's see if this will work. Sorry, I should have the other one. Are you going to be able to... You're probably not going to be able to read it. Oh, maybe. Okay. What did it pick? Oh my gosh, why? You are a little hoe bag. Okay, female horror writers. You cannot see that, but I promise that's what it says. Female horror writers. I didn't even know this was a category. This is a great category. Oh, I don't know if you could hear that. Sorry, my husband's doing dishes. Okay, cool. That's a great one. So then you guys can think about which books to recommend. And we will make a list toward the end of the live stream. Let's get into this book, shall we? Let's get into this book. But let me know if the video is distracting. I also took half of my notes in my planner and then half of my notes on my phone, so I'm all over the place. Oh, we just did Frankenstein. We did Frankenstein. When was it, guys? December or something? November, maybe? I mean, if you want to read it again. Okay, notes. All right, guys. Apparitions by Adam Pottle. Fuck, I need my Kindle. 1 second. Okay. Okay, yes. So I'm actually a little bit confused. Actually, because a few times I've Googled the book and sometimes it says it's based on a true story and sometimes it says that it's not. So I don't know. That's certainly what it seems like the writer implied. Toward the beginning of the book. Okay, so let's start with the author's note here. Yeah, it says at the beginning and at the end. Yeah. But then when I Google it, it says it's not based on a true story, but it's maybe historical fiction. I don't know. And why is my camera... Okay. That's so weird because I feel like last time the camera wasn't going out of focus. So I apologize if that's annoying. Let me know if that's annoying. I can have Brian try to figure it out. I don't know. All right. Yeah, it definitely suggests that it is based upon a true story. From what it seems like this author had access to some videos from a jail, and that's what he based the story on. But I guess I can't say 100% sure, because sometimes, books are written like they are based on true stories and they're not. So I guess we don't 100% know, but it seems like that's what he's implying. Based on historical narratives. Okay. Of several boys. So yeah, I guess, which makes it even more horrific. I'd almost wish it wasn't a real story because holy crap, this book messed me up. It was really sad. Yeah, exactly. If it was based on true stories or if that was part of the book. Exactly. Because yeah, I just read a book. Actually, somebody sent it to me. Like somebody who watches my videos sent it to me. It was called well, now I can't even remember the title. But I read it last year and it's written like it's true, but it's not. And there's even like crime scene pictures in it, but they're all fake. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it does seem like it is. But I guess we don't know 100%. And I guess we don't know for sure because we don't know even the name of our main character, which is crazy. Yeah, I can see that. I thought the author's note was fictional. So yeah, so I guess we don't know 100%. I mean, we could ask the author, but it's so funny that you brought up the golem because that's actually something that a few people read from on the Patreon. It's still on my list. I'm still going to read it. But yeah, a few people read it. I think it was in December you guys read it. I'm way behind, but oh, okay. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, interesting, but not the 80s. What aspects? Cuz I thought it was the time frame definitely did feel ambiguous, that's for sure. Yeah, I did. I did. We ended up getting like a sentimental necklace, so I figured that it it worked out. It worked out. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. So at the author's note, he lets you know about the like how grammatically ASL is set up. So it's set up like topic comment. So you wouldn't say like I go to the store. You would say store I go to. So that's what he's telling you at the beginning. And then he gives you a little bit of information on name signs. From my experience, a lot of name signs have to do with like physical characteristics or personality traits, things like that. And a lot of the times, this isn't, of course, every time, but a lot of the times when like a someone who's deaf gives you a name sign, it has to do with like a characteristic. So, for example, my friend gave me the name sign this. It's an A for my name, but then it's pointing to my lip ring. So a lot of times it will point to like some sort of physical characteristic. Which we see in Felix because I guess maybe we'll get to this, but he has an F. And then from what it seems like, he circles it around his head like a halo, indicating that he's some sort of like divine, whatever he thinks he is. But with our main character, his name sign is interesting because where does it say it? Man, I was hoping I could find exactly how he describes the name sign. Guys, is the video going in and out? Is this driving you crazy? Because I can't tell if it's my computer or if it's my camera. So please let me know. Dude, what is he doing? Oh. Interesting. Okay, now I see what you're saying. You're talking from like a medical perspective. That makes sense. That makes sense. Interesting. Yeah, something that I like would not have even thought of. Also the lobotomy thing. Yeah. Okay, that I can see that. Could that potentially indicate that this facility wasn't maybe up to standards? Do you think? Or like were there some Brian, what are you doing? Sounds like he's breaking things in there. Um Okay. It must just be my computer. Ooh, Eraserhead in book form? Now I'm definitely making time to read that soon. That sounds like a great time. Yeah, and a lot of see and it's hard too with stories like this, right? Because we only get the perspective of like, I mean, we get a few little reports from the main people, but the only thing that we really see is that they're like very overstaffed at some points. So yeah, I wonder if that's like an indication that the facility is maybe doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I don't know. Okay, okay. Well, now I can't freaking find his freaking sign name. So, yeah, so for those of you who didn't read the book, it says the story is therefore a crude approximation of the original version, which was recorded on a video at the Saskatchewan Federal Penitentiary and penitentiary? Penitentiary? God, I didn't know I had trouble with that word until now. The jail in Prince Albert from October 1987 to June 1988. So it does kind of represent this as fact. Okay, the narrator whose real name only exists in sign was part of the study. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the very first thing. He says, make a fist tight, thumb crossed over your fingers like you want to punch someone, and drag it upward from your gut. Drag it slowly. As your fist nears your heart, arc it outward and open your hand like you're spreading something, sharing something. So his name sign is this. Now, it's been a long time since I've taken a sign language class, okay? So bear with me during this. But the only sign that I remember is like to express yourself. I think this is also the sign for poem too, but from what I remember, it's two-handed. So I'm not sure what a single hand would represent, but I do think that it's like something about something like that, or at least two-handed sign. I'm not sure about one. Yeah, I was thinking that too when they were talking about insulin therapy. I'm like, that is interesting. But I don't know anything about medicine, so I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that that was any sort of treatment for anything other than like issues with insulin, you know? Yes, so we have both characters who are deaf. Felix is, I mean, yes, so we have a main character who has no name, and then we have Felix, but we're shown them toward the beginning of the story. So they both are our main characters, I guess, but they don't exactly meet until pretty late in the story, actually. Oh, okay, confession. Yeah, that could be. I don't know. Like I said, it's been a really long time. That's crazy. Yeah. I think I started my notes on here. Yes, okay. So we start with the story. I didn't take the best notes, so I apologize for those of you who didn't read the book, but we start with our main character. He never has a name, so we're just going to call him main character. He only has the sign that Felix ends up giving him. But we learn that his father took him away from his mother and basically locked him in a basement and just tortured him for years. We don't even know how long. He says when he went into the room, he was small. When he came out of the room, he was tall. That's the only kind of quantifiable timeline that we have. But he says, my first language wasn't sign, it was violence. When they spoke to me, meaning his father and his father's friends, when anyone speaks to me, they speak in ghosts. That's what words are. We don't see them, but we feel them. My father and his people spat ghosts at me. They wanted their words to penetrate me, to fill me, to haunt me. And that's kind of a theme through the whole story too, is words being ghosts. And, he describes words as ghosts, and Felix describes deaf people as ghosts, which I really liked throughout the whole story. And I thought that was really an interesting, it's something that you don't see, but you feel. I thought that was so neat, comparing language to ghosts. Obviously, sad comparing the deaf people to ghosts, but yes. Oh, you're talking about Felix. Oh, you're talking about Felix's name. Oh, okay. I remember at one point he said that it's he signs his name in F with a halo, like circling his head. But yes, exactly. Apparitions being another name for ghosts. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So when he lives with his father, he has no voice. His father doesn't teach him any sort of way to communicate any language. He just teaches him violence. It also does say in there too that he doesn't have a mirror. So not only does he not have a voice, but he doesn't have an image as well, which I think is also interesting for the title being Apparitions and how they talk about ghosts and haunting things and stuff. Because if you don't hear something and you don't see something, how do you even know that it exists? I think that the through lines of ghosts and apparitions and stuff was a really, really interesting point throughout the whole story. Yeah, man, this book fucked me up. This is gonna be so sad to talk about. Oh, he says that his father gave his mom a bag and looked guilty. Are we taking that to mean that she was an addict? Well, that's how he found out that she died, was that she OD'd. And she was attempting to get clean. So at least from our main character's perspective, it seems that he's the one that either provided the drugs for the mother to OD, or he himself injected the mother so that he could take the kid. What's so weird to me is why take him? You don't want him. You don't love him. You don't care about him. It's just so weird that he would go out of his way. It's just so messed up. So the short of it is that his dad keeps him in a basement, beats him, has friends that do horrible things to him. He makes him fight dogs, which obviously was my favorite part of the freaking book, because I understand you have to harm these dogs in order to live, but you guys know how much I love dogs. So that part sucked. Makes him fight dogs, fights it, beats him, and just keeps him locked away in this basement. So he has no forms of communication. There's, I think, one thing in here. Actually, I think I wrote that down because that's kind of another point. Yeah, she was trying to kind of get her life back on track. Yeah. Oh, duh, for money. Yeah. Sorry, it's not even a thought in my head that would be. But yeah, of course, to make money. That's just so crazy. I just rob a bank. There's so many easier ways to make money. than like abusing your own child. It's just it's crazy to me. But yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, to make money. Okay. It's hard to understand what's going on at first. You're seeing it through the eyes of someone who has so little understanding of the world. So this is actually, I think, what makes the book really interesting, because there are portions of the book where he's telling you how signs look, like I showed you a few of them. So it's also an I feel like interesting reading the book knowing sign language, and then probably also not knowing sign language. And we talked about this a little on Discord, because I was like, oh, I wonder if people are going to be really confused because you're just reading signs, and if you don't know sign language, you're like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's exactly how our main character feels throughout the story. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what life is. Even later when he gets brought to the institute, Felix says the most, the simplest things, talks about cities, talks about Christmas, talks about just like things that are innately part of being human, and our main character doesn't even know what they are. So, really cool, I think, this book, because if you know sign language or are part of the deaf community in any way, then you have like that added, knowing the signs that are going on in the book or whatever. And then if you don't know sign language, you feel a little bit more like our main character does, where you're just sort of confused and, you're learning kind of life along with him, which is really neat. Oh no. Does anyone know what the rug was in the abandoned house that grew teeth? No, I don't even remember that part. And also, so I was like, this guy's terrified of dogs, and he doesn't know the love that a dog can bring. That sucks. And even when they're talking, when he's talking with the psychiatrist, they're like, "Oh, a dog?" And then he was like, "No, like big teeth." He's like describing this dog, the dogs, but he's describing them as monsters. I'm like, "No, they're not. I promise." Yes, exactly, exactly. That's exactly my point. Taking something so special like a relationship with a dog, like just pure love and joy, and turn it into something, yeah, horrible. 100% agree with that. That was horrific. And now he's terrified of these vicious beasts when like they're the most loving, sweet things in the world. And also kind of mirrored one another. Like they're both the dog and our main character, they're just thrown in a cage. They don't know what's going on. They have to fight to survive. It sucks, man. It sucks. Oh, I don't remember Felix. Did they say he looked like a cat? Or what did they say about the cat? I didn't even catch that. Yeah, and he doesn't even want to hurt the dogs. Yes. Yeah, his dad is a freaking piece of work. Yeah, don't you just want to jump through the book and hug him? Oh, this is an interesting point too. And yet he took comfort in the images of monsters he saw in the first ever book as a child. Yeah, because I mean, and think about it. He kills these dogs because it's either him or them, and then he holds their dead corpses until he's dragged away. And so really monsters are kind of his only means of connection with anybody. Even the things that are hurting him, that are actively like biting him and trying to harm him, he still has some connection with, more so than his own dad. God, this book is fucked up. Oh yeah, he killed the spider and he got sad about the spider. I forgot about that too. I also really liked how he took words and you can sound them out. Sometimes I had trouble, but like he spells, like fuggin or whatever in a way that a deaf person may understand the word, because obviously lip reading is not a perfect science, and obviously some people are very good at it, but it's really, really, really hard. We did this in my sign language class. Can you not unplug that though, Dels? Where we had to turn off the video and try to read lips. It's like it's impossible. I mean, obviously for someone who's hearing, for someone who's practiced their whole life, I'm sure that they're, well, I know that they're much better at it, but I also liked the way that, language was used, and it was kind of a cool way to learn what people around our main character were saying, talking about him or whatever. But, it's just sound to him. Like, it doesn't mean anything to him. So, I don't know. There were just a lot of things in this book that I thought were so cool and so unique and just like nothing I'd ever read before. Oh yeah, I know, dude. I cannot. The second I read a dog scene, I'm like, oh, I can't give this book higher than 4 stars. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No book where a dog dies. Can I give it can I give it more than 4 stars? It kills me. I hate it. I hate it so much. Well, I wish my writing was better because I have no idea what that says. I don't know. I just wrote what he sees and hears of language. So, I don't know what the fuck that means. So we learn about his horrific existence, how his father is like a terrible piece of crap. And then we meet Felix. Felix comes from, okay, so this is something else too. Felix comes from a family of deaf people. His dad's deaf, his grandpa's deaf. That's not always the case. In fact, man, I don't want to get this wrong, but most deaf children are born to hearing adults. Maybe I could just Google it so I don't give you the incorrect percentage of deaf kids are born to hearing. Approximately 9, this is the AI Google thing, so take this with a grain of salt, but it says approximately 90 to 95% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. So this was also interesting. You kind of got to see 2 different perspectives within the deaf community, because obviously there are some families that have deaf relatives, or like there's some sort of some genetics that lead to deafness in a family. And then there's also people who are the only deaf person in their family. Like 90 to 95% of deaf children are born to hearing adults. So you kind of get both sides of the spectrum. You have Felix, who was given the advantage of having sign at a young age, being able to communicate. He's definitely better at lip reading and can communicate to hearing people much better than our main character can. And that is, I mean, that's true. Obviously, I'm sure that things are changing, obviously, with just more knowledge and stuff. But historically, a deaf child in a hearing environment, I mean, if they're not coming from a family that has other deaf individuals in it, sometimes that there isn't a lack of communication there, you know? Obviously, I'm not saying that there aren't families who don't learn sign language, but some families do have like home signs. So they don't necessarily learn American Sign Language, but like in the book, for example, our main character says that this is the sign for cup. So his I think it was his mom knows, or maybe it was his dad, I don't remember, but he's like, this is the only way that I've been able to communicate with them. He's like, a cup of water. This is not the sign for cup. This is the sign for cup. But like this, they're able to communicate in that way. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, really interesting that you also have 2 sides of a spectrum of deaf individuals too in this book. So I just thought that this book, as a whole, was so freaking interesting. That is true. Especially the dogs, man. Just leave the dogs alone. Leave the dogs alone. Every time we watch a book, hello, am I okay? Every time we watch a movie on Patreon, we're always like holding our breaths when there's a dog around. Yeah, my weakness. Dog death in books. So anyway, Felix grows up with his grandpa, and I think it's actually his grandpa that says that deaf people are like ghosts. And if we relate it back to our main character's example of like not being able to hear them, but being able to feel them, it's just quite interesting. Yeah, that's true. Cats too. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Okay, so Felix finally escapes, right? There's an altercation at his dad's house. He's brought outside. His dad's gonna kill him. I guess he's earned enough money through him, and they've shoveled a grave, and they're gonna kill him. But at the last minute, there's an altercation, and he ends up getting away. By the way, these people like break his arm and just leave it like that. It's so horrible. He ends up getting taken to a hospital. And he uses terms like, they talked about me, they talked at me. There's a lot of that in that book. Like a lot of the, and I get, the people are just picking out, they don't know the kid's stuff. They have no idea what's going on at all. But there is a whole lot of that throughout the story. A lot of people that don't necessarily take the time to try to communicate with him or try to figure out what's going on. We even know that the facility doesn't have the means to provide an interpreter most of the time. So he is really left with people just sort of like talking at him or talking about him or around him, but not really communicating with him. Can you imagine how messed up that would be to have no language? Just no language, no ability to communicate. Yes? Do you have something to say? Morella says, stop the cat murder in horror books. The part where the narrator's first conversation, was about his dad. Yeah. Wanted the guy with the long arm to be punished. Yeah, like the first time that they're able to communicate when they're talking about what happened to him. And this is kind of a general question. I'm sure it'll come up later too. But how did you guys feel about Felix? I mean, I see it like most of you feel horrible for our main character. But what about Felix? What about a kid who does have the ability to communicate, who is provided with some sort of environment? He may not like the environment that he's in, and he may feel left out and like a ghost a lot of the times. But he does have some support, at least in the beginning, with his grandfather and his mother and stuff. Did that make you... Just how did you feel about him in general? Did you like him as a character? Did you hate him? Do you think he was a bad person? Did you feel similar to how you felt about the main character about Felix? Yes. It baffles me that it took so long for the people at the Institute to understand that he was deaf. Yeah, they had no idea. I mean, think about that. A kid shows up, he doesn't speak, he doesn't answer when you talk to him, He's not showing you that he's signing, and it's in the 80s. I mean, what else? You know what I mean? It's almost like too crazy of an idea to think that a kid would be raised with no form of communication than it would be to just like, assume, this kid's deaf and he just doesn't know how to sign and he's just been horrifically abused his whole life, you know? Like, I don't know. Oh, okay. The empathy you felt for Felix came mostly because his grandfather died. His grandfather was the only person that cared about him, and Felix loved him too. Yeah, I have a hard time placing Felix because there are some things where I'm like, well, you were provided opportunities that obviously other kids weren't, you know? Like, in the grand scheme of things, you're the one that's lighting things on fire. You did need to be provided some sort of help, whatever that was. And he just has so much anger in him. But I do have empathy for him in some cases too. Like, yeah, like losing his grandfather, his mother leaving, his father blaming him. Like, some of the things that his father says to him are absolutely horrific. And you think like, man, I kind of get where all this anger is coming from. I think what differentiates Felix and the main character for me personally is the harming of other people. Because Felix is so okay hurting other people, and obviously our main character has to be like coerced into it. Very troubled, but also narcissistic. Yes, I like this. So it's like you feel bad for him, but also something's going on there. Yes, okay, that's exactly how I felt too, Nat. I felt sympathy for him, but it was in a complete different way than I felt for the main character. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Like if he's not reacting to stuff. But I mean, like they're in an institute, and institutes were freaking horrific. I mean, hold on. Like this was the first permanent school for deaf kids in the United States. It's called the American School for Deaf, but it was originally called the Connecticut Asylum for the Education and Instruction of Deaf and Dumb Persons, founded in 1817. So like institutes obviously just don't have a good reputation, especially dealing with how they deal with their patients and stuff. So yeah, yeah, he was. Oh, okay, interesting. See, I love this. I love that we can just, even one character, people are like, oh, I feel empathy for him. I kind of feel empathy for him. I don't really feel empathy for him. Right, exactly. Yeah, they're like, yeah, he didn't even understand what anything was. He didn't, I could understand how people would, not that it's right, but relate that to some sort of like mental, his, like connect it to his mental abilities, thinking like, oh, he just doesn't understand. Not that he can't or isn't willing to learn. But yeah, especially in the 80s, I'm saying. Yeah, I think feral is a good word for him. Because yeah, I mean, he was treated like a dog his whole life. Of course he's gonna not act the way other kids in the institute act. Oh yes, 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 yes. You're so right. That he is deaf because he doesn't pray enough. Yes, broke his knuckles. Thank you so much for bringing that up because I was thinking at the end when he's like, now let's get the priest. I'm like, wait, what did the priest do? Thank you. Yeah. Now I get it. Yes, that is something that is talked to him told to him. I think I did make notes about that too. I think it was the students that slit his tongue, right? Yeah. Right. So like you feel sorry for him. Obviously, he should not have to have endured those things that he did endure. But it's kind of hard to not compare him to the main character in some ways and see like, well, look at also what the main character had to endure, and he he cried when he killed a spider. You know what I mean? Like, just two very, 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 very different people. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I wrote I should have did I don't think I wrote that on Instagram. Yeah, the time difference. If you're outside of are you outside of the US? Cuz we had our time changed earlier. Sorry, I wrote it on the post, but I don't think I put that on Instagram. Yes, exactly. You can have a horrific past, but you can also choose to be just like a decent human. So where does that come in, you know? But then you also do sympathize with him as well. It's tough. Felix is a tough character. Oh, yeah, especially in the 80s, especially, you know? Mm, hello, wake up, wake up. Hello, wake up. How do I wake this thing up? Hello? There we go. Oh, shoot, that's where it was. Oh, this quote killed me. This is Felix. He says, Mom said again she's sorry because the world is not made for me or dad or grandpa or grandma. Why are we here then? I said. Oh my God. Oh, this is so horrific. There are some lines like that that just really killed me. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have put it on Instagram too. Wrote what that it was going to be an hour earlier. But I'm glad you're here now. I think your guys' time changes, I think like this week, right? Oh, that's a good question. Do you think Felix had genuine affection for the main character, or was he just using him? I feel like he actually cared until the end when it seems like he tried to make the main character fall. Wait, the fall guy for killing his dad. Do I have an answer for that? I don't know. I don't think so. He didn't indicate at all that this was any sort of had any relation to his own personal life. Uh, I think this is something that maybe potentially happened to someone, but I guess we don't know for sure. But I will say that I do think that it is just kind of an interesting concept to write about being a deaf individual and like that line, like the world's not made for you. Access wise, you don't have access to every part of the world like you should, you know? So I do think that there are some similarities just like carried throughout the deaf community, maybe that you could take away from the book. Yeah, I think historical fiction is probably, well, I guess, yeah, I guess if it's meant to be like that. Yeah. Man, so sad. So sad. But oh yeah, so yeah, that question about what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Felix had any sort of emotion for the main character? And do you think, you know, he leaves a terrible environment where he's not able to communicate, being abused by his father, but then he only has Felix. I was thinking, how dangerous is that, where this one other kid who's also institutionalized for setting a fire is his only form of communication with people until they bring in a translator, but even still, or an interpreter, but even still, how dangerous is that to only be able to communicate with the world through one person? Is he any better off with Felix than he was with his dad? Yeah, like straight up Old Testament vengeance. Yeah. You don't think Felix cared. Yep. Yeah, it's hard to say because it's hard to say if he did have any sort of genuine feeling for Felix or if he just wanted people to follow him. And everyone else obviously kind of was pretty standoffish to Felix. I mean, some of the kids would draw the picture of the main character and then draw this like dark figure behind him, indicating Felix. So I can also see him just attaching to the one person who does treat him like he is all knowing, you know? And in a way he kind of is in that relationship between Felix and the main character. He kind of is like a god figure in some capacity. He's the only one that teaches him. He's the only right word because no one else is teaching him anything. I think Felix did care for the main character, but his own narcissism and savior complex got in the way. That's fair too. I mean, yeah, I think that's just solely based on your interpretation of the book, because I can completely see how you can read it as just Felix being a narcissistic asshole and just using our main character. And I can also see how you're like, well, there's something there. He could have been worse to him at some parts, I guess. Yeah, he cared for him when it was beneficial to him, which also sucks because that seems to be the main character's relationship with everyone around him is like, sure, you can stay here as long as you're beneficial to me, and then I'm gonna kill you and throw you into a grave when I'm done making money off of you, or, you know, let you take the fall for murdering my father or whatever. That's true. That's very manipulative behavior of him being like, you love me, right? You trust me, right? You this, you won't leave me. Yeah, he is very, very, very manipulative. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say for sure. So yeah, I think that's just solely up to your interpretation. He loved the power. Yeah. That is very true. He didn't want what was best for the MC. He didn't, but okay, just playing devil's advocate here. He didn't want him to go to a family. Look at Felix's relationship with his family. And it does seem a lot of the time that he is kind of fear-mongering, where he's like, they'll do this to you, they'll do that to you, they won't love you. But that is how Felix feels about family. The people that were the closest to him let him down the hardest. So it is kind of hard to see where he's coming from. Maybe he really did think those things and was trying to, I don't know, protect is the right word. But you know what I mean? It's hard to say. Oh, dang it. I also really like this line too. It says, light allows us to see, but it also shows us things that we might not want to see. Light singles everything out, it divides us. Everything blends together in darkness. Okay, that's all that's it on this side. How did you guys feel about the story being non-linear? Did you like that? Do you wish the author would have chosen another route? Was it confusing? Because, one point Alex is at his father's house, then the next page she's in an institute, and then the next page she's at the hospital. How did you guys feel about the non-linear way that the story was told? That is true too, yeah. You're leaving me, you don't care about me when he was trying to go outside because Felix couldn't. Yeah, that's true. But also, I mean, he does have, maybe he's got attachment issues and from his lack of affection as a child. I don't know. I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate, and I think there is a part of me that does feel bad for Felix too. But yes, you can definitely see that as extremely manipulative as well. But I do think he also had it. I mean, he burnt down a freaking whatever he burnt down. Bri,
Yeah,
did you turn up the air?
I didn't turn it off.
Can you turn it down a little? It's a little hot in here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or did Felix think that by the main character sticking with him, that he was the one helping him? Again, just playing devil's advocate. Because I think he truly did believe when he said, they bring you upstairs and they torture you and this and that. I think he did feel that way. I think he did feel that nobody had his best interest at heart. But whether he wanted to provide that for the main character, I think is the question. Yeah, it's like, go play outside. You've been stuck underground for years. Get out. It was nice when other kids and when some of the other kids involved him and things. Well, I guess it was like orgies and stuff, but you know what I mean. Like, they tried to make an effort. They just really didn't like Felix. Okay, so you did like the how the story was non-linear and you could piece it together. Great way of furthering the theme of the main character's inability to grasp the concept of time. Showed the brief time for MC after escaping his dad, but before meeting Felix. Yes, we will definitely talk about that because I certainly have questions about that as well. It being nonlinear gave the readers the same feeling of confusion and not understanding what was going on, like the main character was going through everything until he learned more about life. Yeah, I did feel bad for Felix. I think it just furthers the idea of good mental health care. Imagine what he would have been like if he had received proper care at the facility. Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of questions as to where the blame exactly lies, especially like, you were pointing out with the improper care. Like, they're not even doing things to the best of their ability. So yeah, imagine if he actually did get the help that he deserved. Or imagine if it was like in 2026 instead of the 80s, just how much things have changed since then. Yeah, it's really sad. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I did like the non-linear way. At the end, for those of you who didn't read the book, it does say that because of his abuse, supposedly this real person that experienced this stuff didn't have the ability to perceive time. He only had the ability to live in the moment that he was in. He couldn't think about the past or the future or whatever. So I thought that was such an interesting way to tell the story. It was kind of all jumbled together. And at first you're like, wait, I thought you were in the hospital. Now you're in the institute. But then once you learn why it was done like that, you're like, oh, this is genius. This is so great, because then we're put in the main character's shoes, which I think that, yeah, that's what happens throughout the story is you're kind of forced to be in that uncomfortable place where you don't exactly know what's going on or you're a little bit confused. And yeah, that's just a very small sample of what the main character felt like. He also said at one point, I accepted that I deserved this. And I wrote the spider's death too, but yeah, you brought that up. He definitely has a lot more empathy and understanding of the world, even than Felix does, honestly, in some capacities. Like we're saying, his empathy and his ability to understand affection, even though he's never been showed that. Kind of interesting. We talked about his connection to the monsters, but why do you think he drew the monsters? It was really, really interesting. I know it's funny because my husband actually ordered the book and it was supposed to come like yesterday or something or 2 days ago. I'm like, well, that's not enough time. And luckily in the US it was on Kindle Unlimited, so that's how I ended up reading it. But yeah, it was a really interesting story. Very sad. Very sad, but yeah, imagine if the priest was accepting or empathetic and told Felix that God loves everyone. Yeah, totally. Gave him just a little ounce of not feeling like an outsider. And that, I think that was kind of Felix's entire life, was feeling like an outsider. He did have his grandfather, and then once his grandfather passed, it seems like things really took a turn because he had his dad who was also deaf, but there was definitely some disconnect between the two of them. Yeah, no, that's a good point because no, that actually is a really good point. Then Felix wouldn't have had to start his own religion and go on his rampage, because I think that's where it all stemmed from, right? Is like not belonging and making something to make the world make sense for someone like him. That's actually such a good point. Like if he had someone to guide him and show him the way, he would have been probably a completely different person. That's sort of, I feel like nature versus nurture is a big part of this story as well. Because you have two people who are in a wide range of abusive experiences in their life and how they come out on the other side. And I think it's kind of interesting to compare that nature versus nurture. Would he have ended up being a great person, or would he still have burnt down something once he got pissed? I don't know. Yeah, you guys definitely are right about the priest. I forgot about how that guy sucked. I think he drew monsters just to have some kind of enrichment. God. He had nothing down there in the basement. Oh my gosh, but what about this? What if, like, he drew monsters because that's all he'd ever been exposed to? Because he didn't know anything but monsters. Oh no, yes. Are you going to see the movie? Is that where you're... Yes, I do love eyeballs. You know I love eyeballs. That's a good point too, to discuss the eyes on the cover. Or for some company. Like he'd rather be surrounded by monsters than even by himself. Oh yeah, like the person he made out of clothes. That was so sad. As proof of his existence. Wow, that's steep. Okay, thanks for stopping by. I hope the movie's good. Tell us how the movie is. I'm sure it'll be great, but yeah, that's deep right there. He made them as proof of their existence. And that relates back to like being a ghost and not being able to be seen but felt too. Wow, that's a good point. Yeah. I know, this poor kid. Yep. Yeah, solitary confinement. Just absolutely no connection to people at all whatsoever. The only connection are like people abusing you or beating you or talking at you, but not for you to understand them. I mean, there's definitely a horror in it. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you just call this a horror book? I feel like it's so much more than just like a horror book. I don't know. I feel like maybe almost just like a general fiction maybe fits the describes it a little bit better. I don't know. But the author does call it a genre fiction book. So yeah, it's hard to categorize. Yeah, I agree with that. Horrific elements. Yeah, but not necessarily. It's not like a traditional blood and guts horror book, but it is horrific. Yeah. Dark literature. Yeah, that seems about right. And then at one point, our main character says that about his mom teaching him letters. I understood she was trying to tell me something. I just didn't know what. And then we have our main character has a lot of flashbacks from his father's abuse. So basically, the overarching story is that deaf kid, gets put into basement, or not basement, underground. No, yeah, basements are underground. He gets put somewhere and abused by his father. He escapes. He goes to a hospital, then he gets transferred to an institute. Then you have this other character named Felix. Felix is having a hard time fitting in. He's kind of just filled with rage. Eventually, he burns something down. I don't remember if it was a school. Yeah, it was a school. And he ends up in the same institute. They find out that they're both deaf. And Felix begins teaching our main character sign language. And that's kind of where the story picks up. Although it is quite a bit into the story. You do get probably close, I would say, to half the book, maybe a little bit less than that, where we just kind of hear their individual stories and then eventually the two come together. So while at the institute, our main character is learning sign language, and he has flashbacks of his father's abuse. Definitely some like PTSD, I would assume, kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Oh, here's the quotes from the priest. So this is what we were talking about, the comments from the priest. It says, "Embracing deafness is welcoming the devil with open arms." Like, hello, buddy. God made me this way. What are you talking about? That's fucking psychotic to tell someone that. And then Felix has ambitions of becoming a priest, and the priest tells him, "Deafness is a punishment, an evil brought by lack of faith." This little boy is coming to you saying, "I would like to be a priest. I want to be like you." And you're saying, "You don't have enough faith. You're deaf." What? Insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, and then we have this kind of first conversation between Felix and our main character. This is not it. Hello? Okay. So then you have this is like one of their first conversations. he says, this is when they first meet. So the Felix says, "You're deaf?" And then our main character signs, "You're deaf," like to copy him. And then Felix says, "Yes." And then he repeats, "Yes." He wagged two fingers between the both of us. So two of us, both of us, deaf. And then our main character said, "We're deaf, yes." But at this point, he's not understanding. He's just kind of repeating the signs. I nodded my fist, using my whole arm, bouncing it through the air. He squeezed my arm, and so he says yes, and then he's like, "No, like, stop, wait." He pointed politely. "Yes, yes." And then, "You're deaf, you're deaf." "Not me, you." And then our main character signed, "You." He points to his finger. "Me, I'm deaf." And then Felix says, "I'm deaf. Yes, yes." And I think they go on a little bit longer too. "Oh, do you know sign language?" Basically, he's just copying the signs. I think this is a really cool interaction between them, because I think our main character is so desperate to communicate with anyone. He's just like, "I'll copy you, I'll do whatever you say." And then Felix is like, "Okay, maybe you are deaf?" Like, I think he's starting to realize maybe we are the same and maybe I just need to teach you. Yes, exactly. His journey into Satanism and Charles Manson. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, just creating, just being able to draw something down. And then he asks his name. He touched his chest and tapped his. He touched his chest and tapped his fingers. "My name." And then he drew with his thumb, with his index finger and his thumb. So that's an F for Felix. Drew a circle around his head. I think this is what it's implying, but I'm not 100% sure. Later on, it says that it's like a halo. But again, we know that that's not the sign name that was given to him from his family, because they reject that sign name. That was the sign that he dubbed himself because he is gonna be a religious leader some way. I started to draw the circle above my head, but he stopped me. His hands formed 5 distinct shapes. His index finger joined his thumb while his other 3 fingers fanned out. Then his 4 fingers drew back against his palm. Then his thumb and index finger made an L. Man, this is like, reading sign language hurts my brain. Okay, his index finger joined his thumb while his other 3 fingers fanned out. Then his 4 fingers drew back against his palm like hissing teeth. Then his thumb and index finger made an L. Wait, what? Oh, he's spelling out his name. Felix. This part took me so long. I had to read through each sign. I'm like, wait, what? Ugh. And then he says, like, "What's your name?" And the guy's like, "Don't know." And then he's like, "You don't know?" And then he says, "I'll help you." A cool little interaction there. And I think that's when Felix was like, "Oh, I got the upper hand here." Hello, hello. Especially in the 80s, you know? Yeah, which is certainly part of the book is kind of like feeling othered in both instances, but in very different ways. Oh, thank you. That's so pretty, isn't it? It's a very nice addition. Oh, so I wanted to ask you guys, how did you guys feel about reading like that part when they're signing back and forth? Did you guys like that, or was that confusing? I mean, it hurt my brain just reading it, trying to figure out what the heck he was saying. Like it's also very interesting to have sign language written out like that, you know? The Jane Eyre book, I love Jane Eyre. It's one of my freaking favorites. Yes, get him to practice his normal language and speak with his voice more. Oops, sorry. But Felix didn't want to. Yes, 100%. And that's probably why he felt some distance with his father too, because his father felt like he had to kind of blend in. You know, he had a job, he worked at the facility, whatever. So in his head, he was trying to help Felix, I'm assuming, kind of be more like integrated into the world. But Felix was like, no, this is who I am. This is how I was made. This is how I prefer to communicate. That's actually a really good point. See, and that's what sucks too. It's like a lot of the people in the book are just doing what they think is right for other people, even though it might be obviously the wrong move. But I didn't get a sense, maybe toward the end, Felix's dad, he says some things and you're like, whoa, but also your kid burned down a freaking school. Like I can understand why he'd be upset too. And he really did seem like he was trying to help. At least that's how I took it. I don't know, maybe you guys feel differently about his family. And obviously, like, we can criticize the priest and the facility and all these things, but again, this was in the 80s. Like, this is just what was taught. And I'm not saying that is right, obviously, my gosh. But I also don't think that the priest was just being an asshole to this deaf kid to be an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was just honestly trying to help and trying to, not help, but trying to, like, explain his understanding of things. I feel like that's what's so hard about this book, is because kind of everyone's to blame, but also just society in general is to blame. All of it was hard to read because of those things. And then there's this quote too. It says, most people speak in ghosts. You can't see their words, only the shape of their lips. Our language we can see, the language of beauty and love. And I really like that because I think sign language is so beautiful. I took one sign language class in college and I changed my degree and ended up getting a degree in sign language because I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the language. I just thought it was so beautiful. So I agree with that. I think that's a lovely sentiment. And then we did talk about Felix. Yeah, well, yeah, it's also probably interesting being in a different country too, and then reading American Sign Language signs. But yeah, I thought that it was cool because deaf people could read this and pick up on what was being said, and then hearing people, hearing people who don't know sign language can maybe like feel a little bit how Felix or our main character is feeling in that moment. So it's a really interesting book, and I feel like can be read in such a variety of different ways. And I feel like at its core, maybe some people in the deaf community can connect with it in ways of like being othered and being told that this world isn't for them and things like that. I don't know. I'm curious if that is something that there could be. I'm curious if maybe if some deaf individuals would read it and kind of gain a different perspective on it. That would be a really interesting discussion as well. Oh, you loved the Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Yeah, it's almost like reading a book in a different language. You're like, wait, that's so neat. I just think that this is one of the more unique books that I've ever read. I'm, you know what? I'm not sad that we picked this one. I'm sad I misled you into thinking it was a cosmic horror book, but I'm really glad that we did read it. It was a really, really neat book. Um, how do you feel about our main character with Felix versus with his dad? Do you think that Felix was treated equally bad with both of them? Sorry, our main character. Do you think that he was in more danger in one place or another? Do you think that Felix provided him with some positives? Or do you feel like Felix was just as bad of an influence on him as his own dad was? Yeah, I mean, I'll admit at the beginning I was definitely a little confused, especially with the almost kind of cyclical writing where he's at his dad's house and then he's at the hospital and then he's in the institute and then he's at his dad's house. It confused me for a minute, but then I think once you pick up on it, you're like, okay, we're just gonna have to go along for the ride. And then you get to the end and you understand why the writer did that. And you're like, man, that's genius. Wait, this book was your recommendation? So I didn't pick the wrong book? This whole time I thought I picked the wrong book. Was this the book that you meant? Oh my gosh, I literally thought I picked the incorrect book. Okay, that makes me feel way better. Well, thank you for this recommendation because everyone loved it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that I thought I picked the wrong book. It's so good. Yes. That is so funny. I really thought that was my bad. Oh yeah. Yeah, all sign language is definitely so different. Um I think we were talking about this yesterday, but I think American Sign Language is closest to French Sign Language. I think we have like that's where American Sign Language was derived from. I think we have like 70% of signs that are similar. I mean, the dad literally dug a grave for him and tried to shoot him. You know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, see, that's so nice. That's I mean, and look at how many characters in the book did that for the main character, you know? Or even for Felix, but I understand people were a little fearful of Felix, but there was one nurse that learned a few signs for our main character. It's just that little bit of, I understand that they're busy. I understand they're overstaffed. I get it. But if you're really trying to make a connection with someone, and you can learn how to say a few things, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you have to learn an entire language, but you could put in just the littlest bit of effort. Again, that's coming from a 2026 perspective. It's a lot easier to Google what the sign is for this and communicate with someone than it was in the 80s. So I guess I can't even really say that. Yes, how isolating it could be. Yep. And how the world wasn't built fairly. That is so true. And that's, I think, when Felix's mom was saying like that, like the world wasn't built for you, I don't think that she was meaning it in a mean way. At least that's not how I took it. But she was right. And that sucks. Oh, really? It was on your TBR? I had never heard of this book, so I'm really glad that it was recommended. I honestly thought I picked the wrong book, so cool. That is so cool. No, everyone was really blown away by it. It was a great suggestion. I gave it 4 stars because of the murder of dogs. And I just truthfully do not like sad books. It's higher than a 4 star, but I just personally I don't like being sad when I'm reading books. And the books that are based on true stories and are really horrific experiences, I'm like, oh man, that fucked me up. Yes, so we did talk about this at the beginning, but we were also talking about how there are some books that are set up to feel like they're real stories, even though they're not. I gave an example last year. I read a book that was written as if it were true, and there were even pictures of crime scenes in the book, so you think you're looking at crime scenes, but it was all fiction. So then we're like, it could be fake. I don't know. In my head, I'd like to imagine that this is not real because, geez. Oh, that's a good point too. The author's note could be fictional, but usually the acknowledgments aren't. That's true. That's fair. That's a fair assumption. In my head, I'm still gonna pretend like it didn't happen because this is a horrific, horrible thing. Yeah, it was an interesting one. I definitely recommend. But yeah, so back to Felix and our main character. I think you got a good point there. Yeah, Felix messed him up, but also his dad literally tried to murder him. So no, 100%. Yeah, especially if it's a true story. You can't, I mean, that if it actually happened, it actually happened. There's nothing you can do about it. I understand it. I just really, it really messes me up when leave the freaking dogs out of it. Really? So the books that evoke emotion from you, you rate higher. I feel like the sad books I always rate a little bit lower. But in my head, I'm like, I know this is a higher rated book than a 4 star. But for me personally, because the books, I just don't like, dude, life is sad enough. I don't want to read sad shit all the time, you know? Yeah, I guess it just depends. I don't know. I'm gonna pretend like it's not real because if this is a real person, I need to hug them immediately. Yeah, I'm like you, avoid sad books. But yeah, you want to know what happens in the story. You're like, wait, what's gonna happen next? And I also like the going back and forth in time as well because it kind of tells you something bad is going to happen. You know that our main character ends up in jail, but you don't know how. So I think that sometimes in books that can ruin the story, but I think in this instance, you're just reading about kids in an institute. You're like, what the hell did they do? So it kind of keeps you a little bit more on your toes. You really want to know what's going to happen next. And yeah, I think we already talked about this point, that I just wrote that, you know, obviously, yeah, being with his dad was more of a danger to his life, but I do think that it is a danger just having one person kind of in charge of your whole communication, especially with stuff like meeting with a doctor. I was thinking like, man, Felix could sign anything, especially in the beginning when our main character was just learning sign language. He could sign anything and the doctor would have to believe him. I was like, ooh, there's definitely some sketchy stuff in here if you only have one person to communicate with and he is your only access to the world. And you also have him asking questions like, what's this, what's that, what's that? And sometimes Felix tells him and sometimes he's like, enough with the questions. So everything was up to Felix. His entire existence was dependent on if Felix wanted to answer questions, if he wanted to, whatever he wanted to do, you know, it was all up to Felix. So yeah, I think bringing in that, like, almost putting him up to a god level is relevant in this case because he kind of was. He kind of was to him. He was the only access that he had to anything. Really? You like the sad reads? Because at the end you can go, oh, that's not real, or you just want to be sad? Her mentor claims to love her but uses an interpreter instead of learning ASL himself. Interesting. Yeah, man, this book is very complex because you read a lot of stuff and you go, well, that's not right. But then you're like, but also, you know, there's just so much built on top of, there's so many layers. Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying it. You don't seek the sad books out, but you appreciate them. You appreciate that they can evoke emotion from you. Like this book I do think is phenomenal, but yeah, I don't like being sad. I was reading it being like, oh fuck. That is true, yes. Yeah. They can definitely be relatable. I guess I don't know. There's just certain books that really mess me up, and this one did it. I consider my boxes ticked. Well, good, I'm glad. Oh, what about the significance? What did you guys think the significance of Felix giving our main character a name was? So he gave him this sign as his name. Not like, you know, he didn't name him Bob, but he did give him a name. And after that, we do see our main character be like, I feel different. I feel, you know, filled with light and this and that. I thought this was a really interesting scene in the story. Thanks for coming by. Oh, do you want to give a recommendation before you leave? Feel free if you want a specific Shirley Jackson. I'll also put a thing on Instagram later, so if you want to leave it on Instagram, that's cool too. Okay, just anything. Okay. I'm positive someone else will recommend a Shirley Jackson too. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't even consider that. I think the name Felix gave him was well-intentioned, but it also served to keep the MC more isolated from everyone else. I hadn't even considered that because it's not something that can be spoken. So yeah, it is almost a way of keeping the main character to himself too. That's really interesting. I was just thinking about it more in a positive way of it being like that's something that a parent does to their child, you know? There's a lot of power in a name. And if you don't have that for so long and then you're gifted one, I can imagine what that would feel like. But that's actually a really good point. I hadn't considered that. Because, yeah, it does keep him, remove him even further from the world. A manipulative tactic. Yeah, Felix was a narcissist. To elicit some kind of control. That's also a good point, too. I was thinking of it in more of a positive way for the main character. I wasn't even considering why Felix did it. He picked it to be empowering, yeah. But overall, the effect was still that it was harder for him to connect with anyone. Yeah. I mean, even from the beginning, it's like, if you hear my name being spoken, that's a lie. Like, this is my only name. He still connects with it in some way. It was in line with Felix wanting to cleanse the earth and make it a world for the deaf. Also in line with his religious ideology. God naming Adam. Oh, interesting. See, I didn't even know that. I don't know anything about the Bible, but that is really interesting. Yeah, so it raises him even further higher on his platform, on his pedestal of being kind of a godlike figure, in his own mind at least. Yes. That's more what I saw it as like a positive aspect for the main character, like you said, giving him some sort of sense of identity, because otherwise, I mean, that would be crazy. Imagine not having a name, which means that his mom didn't even give him a name, or maybe no, because he didn't have a birth certificate. That's crazy. So yeah, I can imagine how empowering it would be for Felix or for the main character, and how he would feel kind of vindicated, like he had finally become something. But then you have to kind of question, yeah, like you guys are saying, Felix's reasoning for that. Yes, we did. Thank you so much for the recommendation. I'm glad I didn't pick the wrong book. And thanks for stopping by. Okay, and then we did talk about for a book club, or for just in general to read. Our category this month is, what was it? Female horror writers? Female. Or in general, okay. X. I will write this down. Okay, thank you. I will look into that one. Red X. Hi, buddy. You want to come here? Come on. Oh. Mosley would like to show you that he got a haircut. He went to the groomers. Didn't you? How could anybody hurt a dog? Oh my gosh. Do you have anything to say? No? Okay. I'm assuming, sorry, that you're trying to tell me that it's time to eat. Okay. Oh, that's also a good point. The main character is starting to make connections with other characters. And yeah, and every time he does that, Felix does try to separate him further and further. That's so true. Okay, we talked about their upbringings. We talked about how we feel about Felix. I this blew me away. They just straight up castrate people? Like they're talking about how Felix has some sort of I mean I think they call it schizophrenia, but like obviously they're not even treating him correctly. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just gonna chemically castrate him? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that they did that. A melted version. Okay, yeah. Next time when he gets a new haircut, we'll make one. Just a mini Mosley. They did probably cut off like freaking a pound of hair from him. I don't bring him to the groomers that much because he hates it. Oh my god, he hates it. It's like dropping your kid off at school. Oh, I just want to cry when he's just shaking and then he's like clawing to get to walk after. It's so sad. It's so sad. Oh, right. Yeah. It's because of his homosexuality. Yes. I read that and I was like, I understand times were different. There is no fucking justification for that. That is insane to me. Insane that was a thing. Are you kidding me? What world are we living in? Disgusting. And then I guess really like, now we go to the ending. Okay, so our main character, he's like hanging out, he's trying to make friends, but Felix is kind of his only way to connect to people because he's the only way that he, like, you know, some people know a few signs here and there, but not really. Felix ends up setting the Institute on fire and they run away. By the way, if you don't want to have the ending ruined, oh, he's gay too. That's another box tick. Yes, Felix and our main character do have intimate relationship. I also think that this is kind of interesting too, because our main character doesn't even know what's happening when he gets aroused. Like he doesn't even understand. So I think it's really freaking interesting too that he's just like open to loving whoever's there, you know? And I feel like it's an interesting comment again on like nature versus nurture and how he's just like, I don't understand. Why is this wrong? Like, we're not doing anything wrong. And the people around him are like, no, we're going to castrate you if you're gay. Oh my God, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So I feel like in a lot of ways, the main character has more empathy than the society that he's being thrown into. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's more rational in a lot of ways than these supposed doctors and nurses. I mean, they are, but they are not great at what they do. Okay, so we're going to ruin the ending now. So if you don't want the ending ruined, but it's also not really ruining it because, you know, he ends up in jail pretty early on in the book. So it's up to you. But we're going to talk about the ending now. So, the ending. Okay. Felix starts the Institute on fire. He escapes. He takes the main character with him. And they go on a journey. And it seems like Felix is just, I don't know if he's killing people. I don't know if he's just harming them. But he gets covered in blood and takes a lot of cars. And he definitely kills one person. Some random woman to steal her initial car. But then he comes back bloodied to steal a different car as well. Then they end up at Felix's father's house. And Felix says, in order to prove your love for me, your loyalty, you have to kill my father. Just think about your father. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your errand. I guess errands aren't all that fun, but but you know. Yeah, I don't think the main character has a concept of sexuality. Yes. He just seeks, yeah, feeling good, positive interaction, whatever that is for him. And I feel like that's really interesting. Yeah, exactly. And it's some sort of connection in a way that he's definitely never had, you know, even with his parents or whatever. So, yeah, I don't even know that he. And then Felix calls it love, too, which is adds like a different layer to it. Yeah, he has no freaking idea what's going on. So then they escape, and then they go into Felix's dad's house, and our main character does end up murdering Felix's father. He kind of gets like flashbacks of his dad and allows that rage to come out, and he ends up killing him. Do you blame the main character at all for this? Should he have known better? Are things like murder innate? Or are they learned? Like innate that murder is bad? Or is that something that's learned? I know he doesn't want to do it, but he does end up doing it. How did you feel about this ending? This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Man, I freaking love these discussions. It's so interesting how we can all read the same book and have a little bit of different feelings for the characters or how things end up or whatever. No, you're fine. You're good. Honestly, it's not really like... No, you're fine. You're fine. It's not really ruining the ending. You know he ends up in jail. You know he did something horrible. And I honestly, it doesn't really matter who he murdered, you know? But no, you're good. I just know sometimes some people don't read the book but still like to come to book club. But, yeah, I don't know, man. This is a tough one. Because he doesn't want to hurt people. He feels like he knows that it's wrong. But also, can you blame him? I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can. Like, hey, don't murder people. But also, if the one person that you're trusting in... I don't know. Is there any world where you understand where he's coming from? I don't know. I really don't know. He knew what death was. He witnessed it and caused it. Yeah, the spider and the dog. So he knew what he was doing. And he understands the implications. There's a lot of times throughout the book where he says, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't blame him. He was being manipulated. And where else was he going to go if not tag along with Felix? Yeah, that's what's so hard is it's hard to read a book because obviously you think like, okay, well, murder, there's no excuse for that. But then also you're like, well, I cannot even put myself in that person's shoes. Oh, I'm reading my cozy mystery because after this book, I'm like, I just need some cutesy little story. I cannot do it anymore. Anything else horrific. I just got to read something cute. So I'm finishing up my cozy mystery. Yeah, Felix manipulated him and played into his emotions and got him into the state where he was able to do that. But can you solely blame Felix for the main character's actions? I don't know. Felix told him in a way to make his PTSD visions go away. That is true. He did say if you do this, you won't see your dad anymore. He did say that. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that there's, again, an answer for this. I think that this is just like obviously up to each individual person's interpretation, but it is. That's a hard question to answer. I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer. Obviously, there's part of me that says, well, no, there's no excuse for murder at all. But then there's a part of me that's like, I get why what led him there, you know? It's a messed up situation to be in. So I don't know. Okay, and we talked about this a little bit, but the very ending, the very last page. So, like I said, we have kind of this cyclical writing where he's at his dad's house, he's in the institute, he's in the hospital. But on the last page here, nope, that's the acknowledgments. It's when he escapes from his dad's house. There's like thunder and lightning and rain. Then the rain stops, the air turns sweet. I took both bowls inside, the bowls of water, and set them by the windowsill. The light continued to blare throughout my body as though my blood was made of sky. Why do you think that was where we ended? Because, sorry, I guess to go back a moment, Felix ends up being arrested and put in jail for the murder of, the MC, the main character, for the murder of Felix's dad. Then in the prison, his dad gets arrested. He's in the same prison and he has to testify against his father, which I think is the most, I was really worried. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, you know, but I think it showed a lot of growth in his character. Lottie, not Lonnie. How dare you say her name wrong? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think it showed a lot of growth in his character that he was able to stand in front of his father. I don't think that he would have been able to do that before. So I think Felix did provide him with something good, you know? Like the beginning of the means to being able to hold his life back. Yeah, Lottie. But yes, Lottie Lemon. Yep, that's her. My main hoe. But yeah, so yeah, why do you think the ending was just after he escaped? So we have this whole thing, you know, he gets out of his father's, he goes to the hospital, he goes to the institute, then he goes to jail, and the very ending of the book is just that a little sliver of him just after he escaped his father's house, where he's on his own. Why do you think that's where the book ended? This is in black and white. I can't even see the... Thank you. Oh yeah, okay, that's good. That's good, that's good. Hello. Thanks, Bri. What the heck? It's not even plugged in. Oh my gosh, my cat is freaking passed out, just face first on the ground. She sleeps like this with her feet tucked back. She's so weird. Okay. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You think that it was the moment of the main character being by himself, experiencing a sense of happiness in the rain after one prison his dad before the next Felix. Oh, that's such a good point. Throughout the story, there's themes of darkness and dread, shadows behind the portrait that was drawn of him, feeling darkness behind him. Okay, so this is like his one moment of light throughout the darkness kind of thing. It was a moment of just the MC himself, not being directly influenced by anyone else. I love that. I love that. This was the start of his journey and possible freedom. Lighting to symbolize light and hope and possibility. See, that's what it is, kind of like a happy ending, but also a sad ending, because he does have kind of a choice in that moment, and it's so sad to see where he ends up. And like we were talking about, earlier, if Felix would have had a priest that, respected him, or if he would have had support from his family or whatever, where would he have been? And I think the same thing can be said, and be true for our main character as well. Like, imagine if in that moment he was just picked up by somebody who knew sign language, who could help him. Like, his life would have been so freaking different. Self-empowerment with lightning. Yeah. So it's like a good ending, but also a really sad ending too, because of where the story actually ends, where he does end up going to jail for murder. Yes, okay. And then we find out that the time at his father's house severely damaged his ability to distinguish between time periods. He experienced everything in the present, nothing else existed. And then we talked a little bit about the title of the book. As far as the cover, I just think it's interesting that all the eyes in the cover are pointing toward this main character. It's almost like he's a spectacle. Everyone's watching him. But it's not the cover, they're not interacting. You know what I mean? It's just like a bunch of eyes on him. Whew. That was a lot. And what's crazy is I feel like we could read the book and still find more things to discuss. Even after all that, you know what I mean? Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Any other notes that you guys wrote? I'm positive that I missed stuff. I think, yes, we don't know, but I think that's why I was nervous about his testimony against his father, because I felt like if the testimony went bad, then they would have no like concrete evidence. But in my head, I'm like, there's no possible way that his dad got away with what he did. There's no way. If you're in that jury, there's no possible way. So in my head, his father's was screwed. And that's why he was so mad that his son was taking the stand against him. Lightning is also a symbol of rebirth. Oh. So he gets reborn, but then he gets screwed over by Felix. Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, you definitely, I was going to say you can't sign without vision, but that's not true. We did volunteer with the deaf-blind community a bit too. And they definitely did sign. But you just kind of have to they put their hands above your signing. So they would just feel your hand movements and then be able to know what you're signing, which is absolutely crazy. So, I mean, yes, vision is very important, but I guess it's... for me, felt more like the character on the cover is like a spectacle, kind of being othered like he is throughout the whole story. But other people, I'm sure, have different interpretations of it. Mosley? Oh yeah, that's what I do too. I do the same thing. I'll read a book and Man, the last book I drove my husband crazy about, Wuthering Heights, I talked about that book for weeks, and he was like, I cannot physically hear about Heathcliff anymore. So yes, I feel the same way. That's why I love book club. Also was The Monk written by a female author. We can try. We can sure try to trick people. That's so funny. Yeah, well, it's nice. It's nice because you can talk about books, but it's different when other people provide their perspective because sometimes it changes how you feel about a book completely, you know? Like a lot of times we've had these conversations and people either come out hating the book more or loving the book more or whatever it is, you know? Because everyone just has a unique experience when they read something. That's true. That's true. Comparing the main character to the monster in Frankenstein because he's naive and needs to learn and grow and, yeah, understand the world around him. One day this year, we will read The Monk. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, we're just different. I mean, and everybody's different feeling of Felix, you know? It's just cool to see who you connected with, why, how you felt about them. Like some people, even when we read Frankenstein a few months ago, some people were like, "No, I have so much empathy for the monster." And then other people, well, I think I was the other people that I was like, "Yeah, but he still goes around and murders innocent people." And we have like this whole, you know, it's just really cool to see how people view different characters. Yeah, female authors. Yes, female authors. Yeah, to be able to read it slowly. Okay, guys, female author suggestions for next book club. What do you recommend? This is a good category. I didn't even know this was a category. I know it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I think I'm gonna recommend a Rachel Harrison book, even though I think I'm gonna recommend So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison because I feel like that is such a great, especially for females, but like obviously anybody can enjoy the book. Anyone can. There's a lot of cool themes in that one, so I think that would be really cool for a book club. So I will recommend Rachel Harrison's So Thirsty, and I wouldn't mind rereading that one again. Sylvia Marina Garcia, which book? Yeah, that's cool. Mayfly. The Devil. That's not how you spell devil. The Devil of Nanking? Nanking? Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh, I wanted to read this Vampires of El Norte. Hell yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, it's gonna be so hard to pick a book this month. Mm-hmm. Familiar Spirit. Oh, The Cipher. That is on my list. I almost picked this up a few days ago. That would be a good one. That's it. That I've heard that's a weird fucking book. So The Weight of 52. Man, Man, you guys always recommend the best books. Yeah, I feel like that might be a really good one for book club because then we could all get together and be like, what the fuck did this mean? My desk is so squeaky. Okay. Oh, isn't that... Richard, wasn't that the book of Monsters and Mainframes? And... Barbara... It is Fate! That's so funny. Oh, it's gonna be so hard for Patreon to... Sorry, I cannot write and talk at the same time. I did not realize that that was something I couldn't do. It's gonna be so hard for Patreon to pick one of these. These all sound great. Yeah, well, I can't read any name. Okay. I freaking need to use a new desk. It's... the creakiness is driving me crazy. All right, if we have to read Frankenstein again. And then, what do you guys think for Shirley Jackson? We were recommended Shirley Jackson, but not given a book. What do you guys think? Actually, I moved my Shirley Jackson books. I don't want to pick one. You guys pick one. Dude, what the hell? Why is this not charging? There we go. What is this? Oh, weird. Okay. The Lottery? Isn't that one's a short story, isn't it? Jinx. I think The Lottery is a short story. Yeah, super short. Typically spans 9 to 10 pages. I think that one's too short to have for book club. Okay. We have always lived in this castle. I could also put, yeah, okay. We have always lived. This is my favorite in this castle. Mar, what are you doing? Yeah. I think We Have Always Lived in This Castle, The Haunting of Hill House. I'm sure there's other, but I think those are like the two most popular of her that are actually novel length, you know? I just, oh my gosh, Joyce Carol Oates! We could do a Joyce Carol Oates! I feel like I should only recommend one book. But that would be good. The Sundial. I think I read that. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, yeah, this is a whole novel. That's good, that's good. Fox is the last book she came out with. I don't know if anyone, I don't know if you guys love Joyce Carol Oates the way that I do, but we can put Fox on there. Oh, she has a new book coming out this year, actually. Oh, short stories. Oh, interesting. I didn't know she published under a pseudonym. A pseudonym. Pseudonym? I can't read English. Yeah, so Fox is the last novel. Should we put Fox? Yeah, Fox or Zombie, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, you can, of course. Should I put Fox and Zombie on the list or just one? We could do that. We could also do, yeah, I guess if she gets picked, then we'll figure it out. Okay, cool. Should I add all three? Butcher, Fox, and Zombie? I guess I'll keep my cozy mystery to myself. There have been people that have DM'd me on Instagram and been like, I did not like this cozy mystery. I'm like, I'm sorry. No. I can't choose. I can't make decisions. You guys pick. Should we just do one Joyce Carol Oates, or you want all three Joyce Carol Oates? So then I feel like it gives her an unfair advantage. But who knows? Maybe the magic wheel will not select her at all. But I do love her. Any other female? No, it's not my personal thing, but it's just like such a silly. It's not horror either. It's so silly, and it's so, yeah, it's just silly. I know it's a silly book. I just love it. I love it so much. It just brings me so much joy. But there have been other people that have read it that have been like, this was not it. So so I wouldn't force it upon you, you know? Oh, that's good. Wait, that's a good idea. Have Joyce Carol Oates be her own category on the wheel. I like that. I like that. So do I add any Joyce Carol Oates, or do we save her for the Joyce Carol Oates category? Because then, you know, then we would be reading two of her books. What do you guys think? You guys have to tell me though, because I cannot make decisions. I am unable. Yeah, Anne Rice has her own category too. Save her like a fine wine. Oh my god, you cracked me up. Okay, yes. Okay, we'll have her own. Okay, cool. I think that's a good idea. Because I do I do love her, and her work is can be quite dark. Ooh, okay. Oh man. I'm sure that there's gonna be, you know what? I've been trying to read that book too. There's so many I want to recommend. This is such a good category. This is tough. This one's tough. Um, but I guess we'll just keep it. I'll just add the one. Any other female off? Yes? How can I help you, ma'am? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have 15 so far, but I will also get some from Instagram too. Sometimes I get a ton of recommendations. Sometimes I only get a few recommendations. So, but with this category, female, I'm sure I'll get quite a bit. And Morella's just gonna creepily stare into your soul. Oh gosh. That's the book that I was just looking at. I didn't recommend it. You recommended it. I'm adding it to the list. The Specimen. I've been wanting to read this freaking book. It's on my list of oh no, that's my list of fall books. Or it's with my fall books at least, but it is on I've been wanting to read that book for so long. It sounds really interesting. Hello. By the way, have you shown us pictures of your cats? I don't know if we've gotten pictures of your cats, have we? Because if not, I feel like that's illegal. Yes, cat tax. Everyone gets a cat tax. Oh, okay, you did share. Okay, okay. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, if you didn't give us a picture of your cats, Morella may have to curse your bloodline. But we'll let it slide. We'll let it slide. Morella says hello. She is so funny. Okay, cool. I will also, like I said, leave a thing on Instagram. If you guys want to recommend a different book, like something pops into your head, there will be a little thing on Instagram for the next 24 hours or whatever. Actually, I'll probably put it up. I don't know if I'll have time before. I'm going to have my birthday dinner, mine and Brian's mom's birthday dinner tonight. So it'll either be up before or after. Mira Gran, the Come Closer writer. I read Come Closer. Thank you. It's not now. I mean, it was like last week, but we're doing the birthday dinner tonight. So I don't know if I'll have, oh yeah, I haven't read that one. The Drowning one. Did you want to add that one or no? Into the Drowning Deep. Yeah, that one looks good. Oh wait, no, that's not that one. Wrong one, sorry. Drowning Deep. So I'll put it up sometime, probably when I get back. And so if you have another suggestion, you can leave it there. And then if this is your first book club, if you've never been in book club before, I will spin the wheel 6 times, the magic wheel of names, and that will select 6 options from all the ones that we suggested. I bring those to Patreon. Patreon chooses the final has the final say. And I will upload those to Instagram too, the videos. The only reason why I don't upload them to YouTube is because I don't want people recommending books after, you know what I mean? People are going to be recommending books if I put like a short up or whatever of the video. So I just do it on Instagram because it's easier. It's just up 24 hours. And then I'll show which options get selected, and then I'll let you know the final pick, probably in like a week's time. And then once that pick is selected, then it'll be a month out from there. So do you want to add the Drowning Deep or not add the Drowning Deep? Potentially Drowning Deep? You guys picked so many good books. One time somebody took a picture of my cat just staring creepily into the camera, and then they DM'd it to me and said, "Your cat really freaks me out." I was like, "Oh, sorry. She just wants to eat your soul." This can't be, can it? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, okay. So no adding this one. You are so cute. Just a tiny demon in a little fluffy body. All right. I don't know that one. The Drowning Girl? It's a dark fantasy novel. Interesting. I don't think I've heard of that one. It might still be. Somebody might recommend one on, you know, the other one. But people probably don't see those as horror books, even though I would argue that Jane Eyre does have some spookier elements to it. That's the only, the wheel is only categories about monks. Not one time. One day we'll read that freaking book. I think this is the first time the monk hasn't been recommended in quite a few months. Oh, that's so freaking funny. One day we shall read it one day. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you want to leave another recommendation, shall be on Instagram tonight. I think I am going to go. I probably should walk Marlo so she doesn't destroy my house when I leave her alone when I'm going to dinner. Oh, yeah, your werewolf shit. Yeah. That's fair. That's totally fair. I understand completely, you know? You gotta eat humans when you gotta eat humans, you know? Yeah, and it's been a while since the last book club, too, so now we'll be a little bit more consistent, I think. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? That would be a tragedy. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. This was so much fun. I'm glad we got to read this book. I'm glad I didn't pick the wrong. I really thought I picked the wrong book. So I am happy that I picked the right one. Yeah, exactly. It'll be Nat's favorite book because she's waited so many months to read it. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you soon. I'll also see you soon with another video. I just have been honestly trying to catch up the last few weeks, but we're getting there. I've got a bunch of stuff filmed. I just need to sit down and edit it. So, but yeah, I should see you this week with a video, and then I'll let you know what options get selected, what the wheel decides our fate is. But thanks for hanging out, and I will see you guys soon. See you guys soon. Have a good rest of your night, the rest of your Sunday. Bye. Bye. Thank you. Yes, hope to see you next book club. Bye, everybody.